Welcome back to cryptogains for another video. I hope you're all having a good day. I want to show you what I see in the Bitcoin price chart, give you some realistic analysis over the next coming weeks, what could happen for Bitcoin. If it's sounding interesting, drop that like. You really must pay attention to this because hopefully this video can either save you a lot of money and also maybe potentially make you a lot of money in the future. Let's take a look at this. Actually, real quick, I dropped this video here, talks about Glassnode, in-depth analysis on Bitcoin. Make sure you check that out. It's powerful because if we are to see some form of a pullback, which I was speaking of in that video, because I feel like it's going to be short-lived. Like we're going to see a sharp drop down and then a short-lived rally straight back up, sort of like what we saw here with C19 event right here. We saw a massive fall down and a short rally, a V-shaped rally or recovery back up. So let me just talk about what we're going to discuss in this video. We are purely going to focus on the counter channel. Actually, what I might do, if I still got it here, I don't think I've logged in because I wanted to show you the 200 week as well because we're below the 200 week. Let me see if I can just grab it up real quick. Just have a quick look. I'll take this off. Quickly grab up a moving average. And guys, this is not financial advice, so please, do your further research before you make any moves with the crypto that you have. Let me just grab up a moving average. This is the simple moving average, and I want to pull it on. It's on the weekly time frame. Let's change it to 200, like this. And I'm going to make it red because red for me is my favorite color when it comes to finding the bottom of the entire market or, anything like that. Let me turn off this for a minute to count the channel. So the 200 line has played a significant 200 week moving average. This red line has played a significant role in the past. Like we've seen many times in the past with the bottoms of the cycles hold support of this 200 week moving average, right? And you can see it here, You can see it back in 2015's bottom cycle, right? The only time we was ever underneath this was recently when we saw this massive crash from the 70K right down here. We stayed underneath it. We resisted. We couldn't break above it. Bitcoin tried many times to break above it. Couldn't. It fell back down. You can see it here. Tried to break again here. Got rejected. Fell back down. And then it finally broke above. Held some support. But you can see now we're just underneath, right? So ideally, we want to kind of see Bitcoin remain above because this is a strong line, and the longer it remains below, it just shows sign of weakness in Bitcoin's price, right? It doesn't necessarily always mean it's going to be a bad thing for the altcoin market, right? So there's a few things I want to talk about in relation to that, but let's just discuss what we know to be true, which is what we see in the charts today. And the main thing we're going to focus on is the counter channel. And if you've seen my videos, I've told you many times, what am I looking for with this counter channel? Well, the good thing with the counter channel is it can show you trend reversals, meaning we have two blue lines and we have a yellow line in the middle. Whenever we've seen price action below this middle yellow line, it's usually a bearish trend, meaning the price is falling down. It finds it hard to break above. It just keeps falling down. And, I'll talk about these piercings in a second. And, if it's bullish, we usually see price action hover above this yellow line and it bounces off it, right? And you can see right here in the past from 2017 or 2016, 2017, it was so bullish, price action was bouncing off it, bounce, just like I've told you many times. So what am I looking for? I'm finding instances of what's happened in the past with Bitcoin to understand what could potentially come in the future, right? And as you see here, I want to show you, Bitcoin's recently broke this yellow line. And not only has it broke this yellow line, we are now seeing a candle underneath this yellow line. What does it mean for the future? Well, as I've told you in many times in the past, the only time, and this is on the weekly time frame, which means each candle is a week's worth of price action. Every time we've seen Bitcoin break the yellow line, we've always at some point see it come down and then pierce this blue line. It always pierces through this blue line and we see price action come outside the blue line, usually marking a phenomenal time to be buying crypto or Bitcoin, right? So because of that, and I'll just show you some more instances as well. I highlighted one here that we broke the yellow line we broke here. We saw some candles underneath. This essentially was the start of telling us that this is going to come in the future, right? I'm going to talk about time, how long it's going to take and things like that. We saw this event here. So look, back in 2019, We saw a breakup of the price above this yellow line. Price starts coming up, starts moving up. You can see it here, bounces off it like this, comes up. But when we see it break this yellow line and then it holds a candle underneath, at some point in the future, we see a massive capitulation, which was the 19 event, and then bang, we see price pierce this bottom blue line and come out. Let's talk about percentage drops. What am I thinking? What are we seeing in relation to how big of a drop? This comes down to about 29% drop, maybe a 30% drop. That's from it piercing the blue line and coming outside of the blue line, a 30% drop, right? I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I can only go by what I've seen in the charts in the past, and this is why I'm relaying it to you. I'm trying to help you on your journey and just give you realistic analysis of what could potentially happen. Is it short-lived? Time will tell if it happens. Look at this. So, we saw the breaking of the yellow line. We saw candle underneath. This was our signal. This was our warning signal to say, look, in the future, the trend may reverse. It might be bearish. We may at some point see it come to this blue line and pierce through it. And that's what we saw here. And from here to here, we saw Bitcoin's price fall down about 33% from the pierce. From here right down to about 33%. And it's been held true ever since. If we come over here, let's have a quick look. So we saw over here candles come up below this yellow line. You can see it tried to break above, resisted. Look, then that was sort of like the trend reversal. We saw two breaks. Let's have a look at how much it fell down here from the blue line. It fell down here to about, I'm trying to get it right, 21% there. Let's just have a look at this break here from the piercing of the blue line. Blue line about here. And this fell about 28%. If Bitcoin is to fall going forward, because we've broken this, right? We've broken this yellow line. It speaks of at some point in the future, Bitcoin's price should come to this blue line and then fall through it. 20%, 30%, I don't know. Let's just have a look from the blue line here down 20%. Puts this price at, you're looking about an $18,600 price, $18,632. That's a 20% pierce. If it pierces more and it goes to about a 30%, because we've seen 30%, let's just call it 30%. That pushes it down to a $16,300 price. Why am I sharing this to you? Because if it happens, we could see an opportunity to buy more at a cheaper price. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I just want to put this to you on your radar. Patrons, you know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to find an opportunity here. See, 'cause the last thing you want to do is, especially when you don't have much knowledge on the charts and that, because some people get in crypto and you don't understand what's going on. You don't know if it's a good time to buy or sell. And this is why you watch channels like me, right? Because we show you analysis, we show you things that we see that looks very realistic as to what's happened in the past to sort of guide you on your journey to what you can do in the future. Most people usually tend to do this thing where they sell off and they buy back in if it goes lower, but a lot of times you don't see that because prices start to pump back up, and then you miss out on the buy opportunities because you thought it was going to go lower. And then it doesn't go lower, it just goes up, and now you're having to pay more money than what you were spending before. So in a sense, that can be bad if you're doing things like that. But if you have a good, clean mindset, right, and you understand what you're doing with your portfolio, then maybe it might not be so bad. So, if this opportunity arises, it's going to give everybody an opportunity to buy things a lot cheaper. But the question is, if you do that, because again, not financial advice, I don't recommend people selling their entire crypto portfolio. I wouldn't do that. But me personally, if I was to do something like this, I would look at projects that I think that I can get back into at another time. Ones that if I do sell out, it's not going to affect my portfolio massively. I can still use that money for other things should the price go up and I miss the buy again. You know what I mean? So these are the things you have to think about when you do these kind of things, because it can obviously alter what's going to happen with your portfolio and your money going forward. But if this happens, I think it's going to be short-lived, but that's my personal opinion. And then it makes me wonder, what's going to be the catastrophic event? If we see such a massive drop, there's always a news narrative that comes with it. So what's going to be the catastrophic, is I saying it right? Yep, event that causes Bitcoin, because now you're talking not only from here to here, that's 8%. And then I said another 20% to there, about 16,000. You're talking over 33%. What's going to be the catastrophic event or news narrative that we hear that makes Bitcoin go that low? And essentially, you'd probably be saying, look, what is it classed as a triple bottom? Or would that then be the double bottom that we were waiting for? I don't know. Because, if you look back in the past here, Bitcoin it's had double bottoms many times. This would be considered as a double bottom. Look, came up here, came up, came down. This is two bottoms right here, similar. And look at the past. Look, we had a bottom here. Let me take this orange thing and a bottom right here, double bottom. So we've experienced double bottoms many times in Bitcoin's history. Could we have done something like this? We just broke up off the yellow line. This is interesting. Look at this, look, because we did break up the yellow line off the yellow line, and then it pierced the yellow line back down, and then we saw a capitulation. Could we be experiencing something like this? What was this drop from the yellow line from here to here? That was 17% drop. Is it possible we could be experiencing some kind of a fractal pattern like this, where, we came above, now we're coming back below? Because, let me just have a quick look at this. You see it? We came above, broken here. Is it time to come back below? I don't know. Time's going to tell. But for me, I feel like this is something to really consider on your journey going forward, because it's likely, because of this candle. I mean, I could be wrong. We could, over the next week, see this candle just go green. I mean, if this goes green and just shoots up like this and comes back above the yellow line, that is possible. And I'm going to show you why. That could probably be the best outcome for Bitcoin this week. So if I'm honest, this week is going to be the test of time for Bitcoin, the biggest test of time, because if we see something like that and a green candle comes up, let me make this green, make it look like a candle. Let me just go to this. Boom, green. If we see something like that, and then the price goes back up for Bitcoin above this yellow line, great, fine. We have seen one instance of this, right? And I'm going to show you it. It was right back in 2011, 2012. That's the only instance I've seen on the weekly time frame for Bitcoin, with the Keltner channel, where it fell below this yellow line and came straight back up, and it was bullish, and it was right here. Look at this. Look, I'll show you right here. And I've circled it in blue so you could see. We saw Bitcoin come straight down like this, pierced below this yellow line, and then on the second candle, the second week, it shot straight back up. You see it? And then we saw price action bounce above, and then it went, crazy parabolic. Which in that case, then, if it does that, does that mean we've got short time left before we see the top of the cycle? Because how long did that take after it came back up? 140 days after it came back up is where we topped out in 2013. I said 2011, sorry, 2012, 2013 cycle. Let's talk about time lengths, because when we see the breaking of this yellow line, depending on where you want to look, because we saw breakings here, we've seen breaking here. What kind of time length do we have? The first time we saw breakings of this yellow line was about here. And then the first time we saw Bitcoin pierce through this blue line was here. That was 224 days. And again, because it's weekly candles, it may take time until you see this break, the pierce of the blue line. See, many people go, you look at this video and go, oh, yeah, it's not pierced yet. You look a month later, it hasn't pierced yet. Well, you've got to remember, a month's worth is only 4 candles. So you need to give it time before this pierce happens. So maybe you've got time. I mean, ideally, you want to kind of, when you see the piercing, that's going to be the best opportunity to either take some profits or, just calculate your portfolio. So let's have a quick look here. There's another time here where it pierced, right? And then from there, I don't know, do you want to do it from this one here? That one was 154 days. Let's have a quick look at the future, see what's happened here. So we saw piercings over here. How long did it take once we saw this next candle to actually pierce through this blue line down here? 300 days. So that was a year. Let's have a look at this one, because I feel like, if anything, we're similar to what's going on here. We saw a massive rally up. We're now seeing a piercing through the price. And it's likely we could see a capitulation event coming soon. So this was the candle. Let's take the second candle. I'm going to zoom in. Let's take the second candle. From here, how long did it take to, we saw price pierce through the blue line? That was 161 days. So on average, we have about 150, 160 days before we see a piercing of any type through, down on this blue line. So let me just quickly check this one real quick. I'm saying from these candles here, right here, and then the first piercing we saw was here. You see it pierce out of the blue line. That was 350 days. I suppose maybe the average is 200 days then, because I've seen two now with 300 days. So how long are we going to take? Well, I'm going to measure 150 days just to give us a clean perspective. I don't know. Like I said, if it does happen, it could be quick. It could be short-lived and come back up V-shaped recovery. But I'm based on the past. Is it possible that this could take another 150 days? Where's this? What does it put us to? 150 days or 140 days is January 2024. It feels like we should see a massive capitulation soon, but these things can take time to play out. So this is saying January, 200 days. Where does 200 days put us? Oh, what's going on here? Hold on. I've moved the whole thing. Let me go back. So where does 200 days put us if we were to see a piercing through? Let's have a quick look. 203 days is March 24. That would be a very long extended bull cycle, a bear cycle, if it was to take that long to pierce back down. So these are the things that I think about when I'm looking at crypto and, when I'm selling crypto, buying crypto and everything else. So I just wanted to present this to you because, if you look at the other video I shared you, this one with Glassnode, it's quite a positive outlook. It speaks of, obviously, prices falling, but I still talk about the V-shaped recovery and going back up. So this one was just another sort of like a short-term perspective as to what's going on and where prices could go, price targets that I'm expecting. So, now we've seen this, I'm expecting minimum $23,500. If it pierces that, I'm expecting a minimum or a maximum 30% drop, which if it does, I'm not saying this is going to play out, guys. That's a big drop. You're talking about $16,000, maybe $16,500. So, I just wanted to put this to you. Was it helpful to you? Drop that like, give me a subscribe. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen with Bitcoin? I want to quickly talk about the altcoins versus Bitcoin, because we might see something absolutely incredible this cycle, and I don't think many people are kind of thinking this way. And a lot of the time now, because you got to remember, back in the old days, and if you've been here as long as I have, when back in right here, we didn't have many stable coins, or they weren't very trusted back then. So when people were taking profits, we were selling out into Bitcoin. That was like our take profit place. We was putting it in Bitcoin, because that's where we wanted to hold our money, because stable coins wasn't sort of like a big thing. So as time's gone on, stable coins have become more stronger, popular and everything else, and people start to trust them more, which means that they start holding their money in stable coins. So that could also alter Bitcoin's price, because if people aren't putting money into Bitcoin as a reserve to say, oh, prices are falling, let me hold my money here, that can also explain why we might see Bitcoin's dominance fall and maybe just Bitcoin fall. Whereas the altcoins, it sounds crazy. I'm thinking that we might see altcoins still rally regardless of what happens to Bitcoin. And the reason for this is because I feel like the altcoins are becoming more of a thing. It's more of a popular thing. People are more interested in alternative coins to make multiple X gains rather than Bitcoin. So this one might be a very different cycle that we've seen, like we've never seen before. We might see a thing where if Bitcoin falls, fine, but altcoins might still rise, because that money that comes out of Bitcoin, people are favoring altcoins right now. And this cycle could be the years of the alt seasons, and we might just technically see a new rally that we've never seen before, where Ethereum is just dominating and altcoins are just shining. Like, seriously, altcoins are just the hot thing and the hot narrative, and people just want altcoins. And it sounds crazy to think, but maybe Bitcoin might not be king after all. Maybe Bitcoin might not be the most dominant coin of this next 2024, 2025. Maybe for the first time ever in all of our years, Bitcoin might not be number one. I want you to think about that, like, seriously, because even though we see these drops, yes, it hits altcoins temporarily, it hits altcoins, but when the buyback comes, people are buying back their favorite altcoins rather than Bitcoin. I mean, you think about it. You watch my channel. How much Bitcoin do you have? How many altcoins do you have? How much money do you have in altcoins? That's my point, right? So people favor altcoins more than they do Bitcoin because they feel like they can make more money in these alternative cryptocurrencies. So think, keep that in mind when we're investing as well. It's likely that we will see a pullback for altcoins if it happens, but that could probably be the buy of an opportunity for your favorite altcoins. And we might see an insane alt season like we've never seen before going forward. So guys, I'm going to leave it here. If this was helpful to you, please drop that like, give me a subscribe. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you all. Have a good day. Stay healthy. Stay wealthy. Become a Patreon. They see these videos first. I was just about to go. I always see my patrons. Seriously, become a patron because it's videos like this that guide them on their journey. They're seeing my alerts. They can see what I'm doing, how I'm preparing in this market, making sure that there's, when there's big falls, people don't have money to invest in these big crashes because you spent it all. So coming over here, I can guide you on your journey, help you to know when to be taking profits, when to be buying and things like that. And this is what people need in their life. Some people, if you feel like you need some guidance, over here I can help you with everything. This one here, my exclusive VIP partner tier, it unlocks all my posts. So you can see when I'm buying, selling, staking, the whole lot. Yeah, everything. Glassnode analysis, the lot. I'll show them charts. You've got Excel sheets. You can just search Excel. We should be able to search Excel on Patreon, and then it comes up with all the different sheets or spreadsheet. And if you can afford it, my CEO tier gives you access to my VIP Telegram group. I talk to them over there before I buy, before I sell. We're discussing stuff. They've got projects sharing all the time by big money in that space. Big money's known, sharing ideas and what they're doing with their money and their portfolio. So, come over there, check them out, get a quick edge on the market. And yeah, just hopefully it all guides you on your crypto journey. Guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.